Hello and welcome everyone to my CSC209 final video walkthrough. So in this walkthrough, I'm going to showcase that my code compiles without any errors. I'm going to showcase my signals and process management. So just going to start up a few background processes, show how I can terminate them using the kill command, and finally I will go over how I do client message handling. So let's begin. We're going to start by just cleaning our source directory here. So as you see, there's no .o files. So now we're going to go ahead and press make. And as we can see, it has made all the .o files. There's been no errors in our run. And now we can go ahead and start up the shell. We're just going to start with a simple echo. Alright, so to get started, let's run a simple sleep command in the background. So as we see, we put the ampersand at the end, and we get a display. It is the first process, and that is the PID. If we go ahead and list it, we can see that we have sleep. Let's do one more sleep. Sleep, let's say 30 for this one, with an ampersand. And if we list it again, we'll get both sleeps now. So now, if we want to kill it, we can simply type kill, and then whichever process we want to end. I'll end the first one, 2561060, and by default it'll make a sig term. And just like that, we see that we get the done message for sleep 50, which was the first message. And I believe in a few seconds, yep, there we go. That is the done message for the second one. So we are just going to quickly look at that code. So most of the code is contained within the commands.c. Let's start right up at the top. So each job or background process, right? So each job is stored in a struct, and the struct stores its ID, its PID. So ID is like the number, like 1 or 2. PID is its PID. The command, so that would be like the sleep 30 is the command, and then title. So that is just like sleep, right? So when we list it, we see just sleep. There's a maximum of 100 jobs. If I had more time, I could make this a linked list, but unfortunately, I'm running a little low on time. So yeah, we can store 100 jobs. Here we have a quick little initialization for the jobs. This is called within Mish. If we scroll up to right here, right? So it initializes the job and sets up these signal handlers. So this job, it just gets everything ready. And then here's our signal handler. This is just to bypass the unused like variable thing. But yep, so here we're just waiting. And so for each job, sorry, a little sick. Where was I? Yeah. So we're just waiting, and if we do receive a signal, it'll check which job matches the PID, and then we'll go ahead and print the done message right here. So we use a sprint F statement to concatenate that all to a buffer, and then we display the message. And since we're done our job, we go ahead and free the allocated memory, which would be command and title, since we use strdupe right there. When we initialize this, you'll see later in the code, and we just remove everything, make sure it's all done, and then we break. So to set up the signal handler, all we're doing is just SA restart and SA no CLD stop, right? And we're just sending that to our signal handler that we have up here, which is a sigchild handler. This is all run in Mish before everything starts. Scrolling down, when we have a job, yep, so background process. Each background process is basically forked and is set up in a way so that it'll either run a built-in or it'll execute it the bash script. Right here we're just duplicating the tokens so that we know like the title and the stuff. This is just in case we run out of background jobs, then we just tell the user they can't make any more. Here we're just setting up the job, and yeah, and here we're gonna just print the title. All right. Where is Bob? Okay, so now that we've shown that, we are going to show the client message handling code. So, oh, I forgot to mention, the kill command, basically we do a bunch of error checking to see if the process exists and if it's a valid signal. And yeah, it's pretty simple. We just call a kill command using C, and that'll trigger the handler. And yeah, as we showed here, it produces the done statement. All right, finally, moving on to our client. Where am I? Okay, server. So our next one right here, our client. The client is handled basically the same way we did in the lab. So all right, yeah, so our client handles everything the same. We send it to a socket, right? And now the code of interest is actually displaying the message from the client to the server. So here is essentially the code that handles that. So first we check if the client is closed. If it's not, that's good. And we just check to see if there is a message, right? That's like proper. And right, this get message will extract the first bit of the message into however big our buffer is. So buff size, for some reason VS Code doesn't show me, but I'm pretty sure it's 128 characters. So yeah, we write our buffer basically, or we write our message into this buffer and display it. And basically what we also do is we then write that buffer to the socket to send basically to every other we're going to send it to every other client that's connected, right? So we write the username and then the message, and we ended off with a server new line. Here we write it to client. Here's if we fail to send it, right? We close our socket. And yeah, if our client failed to send, we disconnect it. But yeah, essentially all we're doing is we're reading this message using get message, which is in our socket, right? So get message, right? All get message does is we just check where the new line is, and we're going to read up to that new line and put it into a buffer and return it. Here's the issue. If we have a too long line, then essentially all the code actually does is it splits it up into separate messages. So if the user that sent the too long message presses enter again and again, it'll basically flush the message they had until it's all done, and then it'll send empty if there's nothing left in the buffer. So it is a little inconvenient that the client has to press enter for the message to show, but that way we just don't have any errors and we don't have to have a ridiculously large buffer. All right, that is the code that handles that. And actually we can demonstrate it because I believe, yeah, we have just a little bit more time. So if we go ahead and start a server, All right. Then we can go ahead and send to that same thing, right? 0.0.1 and hi everyone. Right, we see that client one, send a message, hi everyone. So yeah, and then we can go ahead and just close the server. And yeah, that is all for my final walkthrough. We've gone through the signals and process management, and then we have gone code that handles signals and emits the done messages. And yeah, I think I've gone over everything. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Feedback is definitely appreciated, and I hope you all have a wonderful summer as it's the end of the semester. Yeah, thank you for watching.